Hello and welcome to Beach View, our podcast about different things and or stuff.
Hello, welcome. So we are continuing our
Finishing.
show. Oh, finishing. Yes, you're right. The Mayfair Witches.
Unless you want to do season 2 for some reason.
When
that comes out.
I'm gonna say I don't know about that.
Yeah,
for now.
me either.
But yeah, we did the last 4 episodes of season 1. The only season that's out right now. Of the that's out on streaming. I don't know if it's out.
No, it's been renewed, but it's not out.
I gotcha. I know I saw some headlines about season 2, so I was like, I don't know if it's out or not, but yeah, so we finished up season 1, and what did you think?
Yeah, well, based on our saying that we're probably not going to do season 2, I think that tells you all you need to know. Not great.
Not great. I'm so bummed out because I was actually really looking forward, as I mentioned last time. I was looking forward to watching it. I thought it'd be a cool show, reminiscent of how I felt about the Vampire Diaries or the originals or, other kind of supernaturally shows I can't even think of right now. So I thought it was going to be kind of cool. Like I said before, I love the New Orleans backdrop because it's got that creepy historical vibe. So I thought it was going to be a really cool show. And I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, definitely. I know we ended the last one being kind of negative, but,
Yeah.
At least I was like, well, they could turn it around if, there's some mysteries in the air that are kind of interesting. But yeah, just, especially the last episode, some of the plot points are just, bad.
Yeah, well, and I had hope for the last 4 episodes because I liked episode 4. That was of those 4, I thought that was the best one. So I was like, okay, maybe we're picking up, like you said, maybe they'll go in a cool direction with this. And I gotta say, episode 5 right off the bat, I was like, nah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was the best part of it.
No, I did. When they were in the time loop, wasn't that episode 5?
Yes, that was.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I was like, why?
Oh, see, I was like, okay, this, I thought that was the best part of what we watched.
What? No, I guess because I was kind of confused because I was like, wait, why? And we'll get into that, but why is Cyprian getting more and more fatigued from doing the same thing over and over, but she's not? It kind of raised more questions for me than it. I don't know. I was just like, what?
Because she wasn't stabbed?
But if they're in a time loop, why is he getting progressively worse? Wouldn't you just replay the same? You know what I mean?
It was half of a time loop. Actual time was passing, but they were doing the same thing.
Okay, that's what I didn't really. I was confused.
It was Lasher messing with them.
Yeah, but it seemed like he knew or was. You know what I mean? Cyprian. I mean, because he could go to get the eggs and was oh, sigh. I gotta get these eggs again. Gotta do the same thing over and over again. But it was why was he more, I don't know, I just didn't get it.
I don't know. I didn't get it. But I don't even know where you would, not make sense of that. I don't know.
I didn't like it. I was just like, bro, okay, now we got a time loop. I mean, this is my main complaint with these types of supernatural shows. And I was the same way when I was watching the Vampire Diaries. I felt for a while it was good and I really liked it. And then they introduced 8 more supernatural elements, and I'm trying to keep up with why is this happening now? Why is this, you know what I mean? It just didn't make sense to me.
This is one supernatural element, and it's a haunted house thing.
Well, I didn't like how old freaking Auntie Carlotta is freaking hanging in space by the ceiling. I was like, what? Why is she in the air?
Because she was hanging with a noose.
I didn't like it. So, yeah.
No, well, I mean, I liked that part. I especially liked that she's bring Carlotta back, and Carlotta immediately just starts doing the same stuff Lasher does.
Yeah,
trying to manipulate her and.
Yeah. Carlotta got some issues. And I didn't understand the aunt. And like I said, I think we're kind of jumping ahead because we're getting into plot. But there were a lot of things that I was just kind of like, what? Okay. Like, I'm watching. And the stuff in Scotland, I was just kind of like, all right then. Like, I just I wasn't really into it.
They overdid that, but it was like the origin story of like how the Mayfairs came to be, like with Lasher.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mind like how they played a little bit each episode and you were still like, "Oh, what's that about?" Like,
Yeah.
That didn't bother me, but it was, I think like you said, they kind of overdid it a little bit.
It didn't explain why they were talking about Dutch Mayfairs in a previous episode, and this one woman was
Yes.
Scottish, but
I still don't understand that part.
I guess at some point the Scottish family married to a Dutch family.
Yeah, but like why are we left to like wonder that? Like it's just like explain better. I don't know. Yeah. I just was disappointed. I thought it would be better.
Yeah, I mean, I held out a little bit of hope in from the first set of episodes we watched, but yeah, by the time we started getting into this really wasn't great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what can you do?
The amount of times they're sitting there like dramatically chanting Latin is just like embarrassing every time. Happens so often.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh god.
Yeah. It was, yeah, there were definitely some parts that were like cringy to me. But I don't know why, like, again, I'm trying to like identify what was it about this show that I just really was disappointed in. Like the production, I feel like it could have been better, but I don't know how it could have been better, in other words.
Yeah, like the acting wasn't great.
Yeah.
We established that last episode. It continues through here. There's some like bad lines. Lasher just doesn't work. Like the actor doesn't like. I don't know if that's like the note they gave him, like in the like if it's something with casting, like they just got the wrong actor or what. But or maybe it's a writing thing. But like in this set of episodes, like episode 5 when she's trapped in the house with him, and he's sitting there like trying to like. You could have all this power. It's like basic deal with the devil stuff, and I feel like they don't sell it well. Like, I feel like that's one of the easiest things to do. It's like, you get all this power, all your wildest dreams can come true, but it comes at a cost. Like, I feel like that's easy to sell, but I don't know, they messed it up.
Well, again, if it would have been like an Ian Somerhalder or something that had the charm. I'm talking about his character, like in Vampire Diaries. If it like had that charm but still devilish, like
yeah,
and would have been like more intriguing, I guess.
I see the character note they're going for. It could have worked, it just didn't.
It didn't work, yeah. And again, I don't know if it was the notes they gave him, the actor or whatever, but it just like it didn't have that like I don't know chemistry, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Again, though, in these last episodes, I liked Carlotta's performance. Like, I thought her character was well casted, and she had that, like, creepy aunt vibe going, Yeah. And Cyprian. I like Cyprian, so...
I mean, I feel like by the end that I don't know, his storyline just kind of fell apart for me.
Yeah, same. Because, like, he was, like... all up in it, and then all of a sudden he disappears and goes like back in time, and
yeah,
it's a little weird.
Yeah, that went on for too long, and then he's like him just like trying to chase down the plot like by the end, and they like spend so much time on that, and it just like doesn't work. Oh yeah, the ending scene I thought was just miserable. In so many ways.
I'm trying to even remember the ending scene.
Well, it's Rowan and Cyprian having a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And before that, there's like the whole thing with the baby.
The baby! Don't get me started on the baby. Like, how does she have, like, a giant, like, 16-pound baby in, like, 3 hours?
Okay, that's just, you don't want to, you can't, like, get a newborn for a set, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, but that's whole, like, what's happening to my stomach? Like, girl, get out of here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a great plot, though.
She had a baby in 3 hours. Like, come on.
Well, that's supernatural stuff. It's like,
yeah.
The whole thing was, I think she was pregnant for what, like all of
2
few days?
Yeah. Shortest pregnancy ever.
Yeah, but again, it's meant to be like a supernatural thing.
Well, I know that, but then also, like, I was sitting there thinking, well, who's the baby daddy? Because...
You didn't know that?
No, I did, but, like, realistically, I'm going, they showed her with, like, a few partners, so I'm going, like, you just automatically know it's, like...
Yeah, I did.
Supernatural baby.
Yeah, I knew, like, I mean... That's what happened the last time here. With Deidre.
I'm just being realistic.
Which, oh, yeah, the Deidre thing, too. That plot
the
reveal.
Deidre thing. Yeah.
Ugh.
I know.
Oh, yeah, also, I didn't think the romance between Cyprian and Rowan worked. Like, it felt like the kind of thing that would work if it had more episodes to play with, but it just felt like, oh, here are two characters, now they're gonna be romantic interests. They didn't build it up to me.
No, I agree, and, like, how she's like, how do we even end up in bed together? And I'm like, okay. Like, it just, that didn't work. It wasn't a simmering romance. It was just like, oh, now we're together.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even like all at once it's a stressful situation, so they kind of like just go for it. It was just like, and these two are here, so they have to be romantically involved.
Yes. It did. Yes, I agree. And maybe because, it's short, 8 episodes long for the season, they had to condense things. But, like, I absolutely hate that. Like, draw it out and, like, have some more interest in the romance. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't interested in their romance at all.
No, I feel like just 4 more episodes would have, like, it could have worked.
Yes, like... Yes, I totally agree with what you're saying. They just, like, put them together and that was it. It wasn't like, when you don't have any interest in the romance of the main character, you know what I mean? Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, but, that's actually a problem, too. Like, that's the problem with Lasher. He's just, like, he's meant to be, like, there's a romantic subtext to his manipulations. And, like, there should at least be, we're talking about the charm. That also doesn't work. Like, I think they just whiffed on all the romance writing in this.
They really did, and I don't know why. Like, that should be, to me, part of the intrigue.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's, like, the whole scaffold that the plot's built around. Like, it's important that they get this right for the story they wrote, and they didn't.
And it just wasn't. Yeah. So, it was just disappointing because, like, I feel like... And I have not read the books. I will say that. I haven't read the books. And so... But I feel like it didn't do the story justice, but without having read the books, I really don't know that. Like, I don't know that I can say that, but yeah. I guess for me, like, I was really interested in watching it, and then it was like a letdown, just because, like, I wasn't bought into it, like, just from the start, and I thought, okay, maybe it'll get better, or we'll kind of get into more plot points that I like, and I just really didn't.
No, yeah.
Bummer.
Yep. But I guess I'll get into a plot synopsis.
Yeah.
Alright, so episode 5, picking up where we left off last time, where Aunt Carlotta tries to burn Deidre alive, and Cyprian comes in to save her and gets stabbed. They end up sleeping together in the house, and Cyprian's still stabbed, but they're in kind of like a mini time loop, where they keep waking up and doing the same day over and over again, where he makes breakfast and carries it upstairs. But he gradually gets weaker from doing that after a few loops. And eventually they snap out of, like, the time loop, and she realizes, oh, you've been stabbed. And they're, like, trying to piece together exactly what happened. And they, like, realize, oh, Lasher's, like, doing things. They can't escape the house. It's kind of like a haunted house scenario where he's, like, haunting them. So, she's running around trying to figure out, like, how to get out of here, and Cyprian's, like, bleeding out in the main, like, entranceway. And he ends up meeting the ghost of a former Talamasca agent who had disappeared in the Mayfair house from, apparently was involved with Rowan's grandmother. And he's like, oh yeah, this is bad news. Don't die here.
You'll never be able to leave. Lasher will keep you hostage.
Yeah. But then, they figure out it's like, Lasher's, like, doing this because he wants, Cyprian out of the picture, so he figured the best way to do that was apparently to, have him bleed out from his already inflicted wound. And she's like, okay, I'll stay here if you just send him home to safety. And so, Lasher does that, and then there's a whole scene where Lasher's trying to, like, seduce her.
Yeah.
And he's being, like, manipulative.
And she's wearing, like, swinger style, not swinger, like 20s style outfits. Or an outfit. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, she's like, Lasher's like, you can have all this power.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. She's like, no, I don't want to. And eventually they end up in a place where, Carlotta, is, like, hanging in the room. She's like, no, I don't want her to die, let her go. And he's like, no, you do want this. And then she runs off and, had previously met the other aunt, who I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But she's, like, phasing in and out.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, I don't know, like...
She wasn't a big part of the plot.
No, but she's part of it, because, she's, like, phasing in and out, and she's, like, scrambling around trying to make this stop. And, Rowan also wants to make the stop, so she's like, how do I do this? And so she's like, here's what, Carlotta did last time. Yeah. So she takes her down to the basement again. And,
the basement.
You know, now that I think about it, she couldn't have actually locked her in there, could she have?
I don't know. Why? What do you mean?
Because, the implication is that, the aunt locks her in there, like, they did last time with the, maid. But, she wasn't able to, like, touch things. Because she was, like, incorporeal. She was, like, becoming a ghost and fading out.
Yeah, how is she locked in there?
I don't know if that was intentional or, like, an accident. Because the implication is that she did it.
Yeah. Also, like, noteworthy, in New Orleans, basements are not underground, okay? If you do have a basement. I was like, so there would have been, like, windows and stuff, like, you could have got out of. But, I mean, we're supernatural here.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up in the first episode. I was like, wait, don't they not have basements because you're underwater?
I've been in a couple of houses that have had basements, and they're all, like, very old houses, but they're built up, so the basement is actually, like, first floor, basically.
Yeah, well, I guess that could be the scenario with this house.
Yeah.
But...
That's what I'm saying, though. That it's not like she's, like, underground and there's no other way to escape the basement, but we're talking supernatural here, so, you know.
Yeah. I said, kind of pointless logistics talk, but,
yeah.
She does, like, eventually escape using her powers, and Lasher's like, oh, she locked you in here, which she would have locked her in there. Like, that is in character with the ants. It's just, now that I think about it, I don't know that she would have, like, been physically capable by what the story established previously, but that doesn't matter. And she's like, no, let Carlotta go, even if she's, like, evil, and then he lets Carlotta go, and Carlotta's like, oh, okay, I'll save you, come follow me. And then she's like, here's a way out of here.
Shenanigans,
Yeah, and they go on the balcony, and she's like, yeah, you gotta jump. And she's like, oh, you made my grandmother jump off the balcony too, didn't you? She's like, yep, you gotta do it. She's like, immediately trying to manipulate her again. But instead, Rowan decides to use her magic powers to throw Carlotta off the balcony instead. And then, then she's able to leave after this. And she does.
Yeah.
And then we move to whatever Cyprian was doing, which is bleeding out from a supernatural wound on his home floor.
Yeah.
Also, his sister's there, but she's not supposed to be. And they have two agents come to deal with the problem. They deal with the problem, and Cyprian gets up and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go to work.
Yeah. Exactly, immediately, like, alright, I'm healed.
Hold on, no, like, what happened? Oh, God. Because, Rowan leaves, and I guess they meet up again, and they're in the house together. They're, like, sleeping in Cyprian's apartment.
Oh.
Because she's got, the key, the Mayfair Lasher, whatever key, that she's wearing, and, she, like, wakes up in the middle of the night, and Lasher's, like, there, like, just kind of hanging around. She's, like, upset about it. She's like, I want it to go away. But then Cyprian comes out and is like, is he here? And she's like, no. And she's like, oh, it must be the key. And she's like, no, give me my key back. You have to give it to me.
Yeah, she, like, has a little freak out. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That was actually Lasher controlling me.
That seems to be what happens. It's just like if you accept Lasher's powers, it just sort of like warps you mentally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Cyprian takes the key and he decides he's gonna go like into the key. I think this happens next episode. Is this the end of the episode?
No, I don't remember which one.
I don't remember where the episode breaks are. But anyways, he decides he's gonna go into the key. Also at some point I need to cover the Scotland stuff. But he decides he's gotta go into the key, using his powers to suss out the memory. I think that happens way later. Anyways, I don't remember these.
Yeah.
Always bad at plot synopses. But and she, in the meanwhile, is like going over to Uncle Cortland's house to like deal with everything.
Which he's bad news.
Yeah. But while she's there, she's like, or no, he's like, hey, there is a way to get rid of the thing.
Yeah.
To get rid of Lasher. It's this weird ancient ritual that may like severely something to you. It says there's consequences, but it's not like clear what those are, other than she might not be able to be a doctor anymore.
Yeah, he's like, it could be your supernatural powers could be tied to your like doctor's intuition.
Yeah.
And like you might not be. And she's like, I loved how she goes, oh, so it's gonna replace my 10 years of clinical experience and my board certification?
Yeah.
That was like a funny little thing.
But yeah, so that happens. They have this whole long like ritual where they gather all the Mayfair women.
Okay, let me pause here because this is the part I didn't understand either. So we know that like it's basically going to transfer like Lasher's like I guess possession or whatever you want to call it. It's going to transfer to another Mayfair. Why are they willingly doing this?
Because some of them want it.
Okay.
What's her face? I don't remember her name.
Tessa?
Tessa, yeah. Like, she, earlier in the series, she's like, I want to use this power for good,
Oh, okay. Because I was like, why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. They don't want it. It's evil.
Yeah. But different people have different feelings about it. But, he's in the background of this, there was, like, an anti-witch organization gathering.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the coroner from last time had stolen Deidre's heart, and Tessa's all upset about this because you're supposed to. I don't know. It's weird supernatural stuff. It's like apparently you're supposed to preserve the body of the like designees.
Yeah.
And Rowan doesn't really care about
this. Yeah, she goes to Rowan because she's like, the others don't take this serious, or they're, I don't know, I don't remember what
they don't take this seriously enough, you're the designee, so you need to, like, deal with this, and she's like, you should let it be. Also, I don't want this power.
Yeah.
They go to get rid of the power. They have this whole weird ritual.
Yeah.
Which doesn't work. It doesn't end up working, and you can kind of tell from the start that it doesn't end up working.
Wait, I thought Tessa got it.
No, she did not. That's why she got captured and, like...
Oh, I thought, okay, because she was like, she's with, Lasher's with her.
Yes, it implies that she gets it, but it didn't work. Like, they all thought she got it, including her, but...
Yeah, okay.
And it's pretty clear from the start, like, that...
It's not gonna work, yeah.
Yeah, because she's, like, gets up and, like, goes and, like, almost, like, collapses onto a bench, and then she's, like, feeling that, like, an egg cell in her body's been fertilized. It's like, oh, she still has that, like, weird supernatural, being able to feel the cells in the body power.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously the weird ritual didn't work. But, Tessa's decided that she's gonna go get the heart back.
Yeah.
Not realizing that she doesn't actually have the power. She goes to do this, and gets captured by the, witch hunting organization.
So she tries to, like, how she said she can, like, glamour.
Yeah.
And get guys to, like, not know what they're doing for a minute. She tries to do that, and, like, that doesn't work.
Yeah. But yeah, the witch hunting organization captures her and wants to, like, make a witch reveal themselves to the world so they have it on camera, like, and then that'll, like, blow up their spot.
Yeah, make her prove that she's a witch.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Rowan realizes she's pregnant, so she's, like, going back, like, hey, can I talk to Tessa so she can talk to Lasher? Because she's like, did Lasher do this? Which, like, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so then we go through that, and also, Cortland's daughter, I don't remember her name, she has, like, premonitions, and she has one that, Tessa's been kidnapped, so they're all, like, panicking. They get, like, this one guy to, like, try to find out where they're at, and they do that, and they go and, like, have a search party about it. Meanwhile, Cyprian's doing the thing with the key, where he goes into the memory, and this is where he intersects with the Scotland storyline, which, the Scottish woman's a midwife. She does midwife things. And she's delivering a baby. The baby ends up having webbed hands, was it?
Yeah.
And, the husband of the woman she was delivering is like, you made it, devil baby.
Yeah.
He's upset about it.
Poor little baby.
And then later, a witch hunter comes to town and is like, look, there's a witch here. And it is implied, but not directly stated, which is, like, one of the few moments this show takes some, like, subtlety with things, I think.
Yeah.
Other than, like, just being a confusing mystery on purpose, that I thought was actually kind of neat. But it's implied that the guy who, was upset about the child, turns her into the witch hunter, so she gets dragged off to be witch trialed, and they're gonna, like, or they were gonna drown her. They put her in a cage to drown her.
Rude.
Yeah, and she's all upset, so, in her moment of desperation, her sister's like, use the, use the Force, Luke.
Use the what?
Use the Force, Luke, from Star Wars.
Oh, I got it.
It is the same, like, situation.
Basically, yeah.
It's just like, use the evil Latin.
Yeah.
So she does, and this ends up summoning Lasher, which she, binds to herself. And he's like, he saves her by setting everything on fire, and she's like, so does that mean we're, like, I'm a witch now? She's like, yes, and in return, you'll be, like, the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy.
Yeah.
Which is the 13th witch thing. And, yeah, so Cyprian gets trapped in this memory, though.
Yeah.
He's unable... Oh, right, because during the ritual, they summon the key back to, where they're at the Mayfair house. So he doesn't have the object anymore to come out of.
Right.
Right, and then Lasher ends up, like, messing with him. He's like, oh, this isn't a human memory, this is my memory.
Yeah.
And he's like, traps him in the house, and then Cyprian's like, oh no, I have to drink henbane to get out of here.
Yeah, I didn't understand, like, how does he know that?
I don't know, like, the logic of that, why that worked,
yeah.
But it did, and he got out. And he's all, like, distraught. In the meantime, Rowan's like, okay, I've found out where the thing is, I'm gonna go save, Tessa. And she also realized, like, Tessa does not have, Lasher, she still does.
Yeah.
But, Cortland apparently has connections to the Talamasca Institute, because he calls, the boss guy from earlier episodes. And the boss guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll make sure this happens without a hitch. Make sure she stays out of trouble. So, like,
and we know Cortland is, like, shisty, and this is, like, really showing, like, he is interconnected and is kind of, like, trying to be puppet master type of guy.
Yeah, well, like, we've known from he's working something with Lasher. We're just not quite sure what, into what end. But he calls them, and his boss, like, takes, Cyprian out, and then eventually he's like, yeah, the Talamasca Institute, we don't actually help people with supernatural issues. Our main goal is to just watch.
Yeah.
So, Cyprian also finds out that he has the power to erase things, which is what happened earlier.
But the boss has the power, right?
Yes, yeah, which is what happened earlier at the hotel elevator where he's like, it's been wiped.
Right.
Because he did that, so, we realize Cortland called in a favor to wipe it, and it also reveals that Cortland actually killed Deidre, not, Lasher, as had been implied previously.
Yeah.
And Lasher was just killing the killer. And then, he, manages to talk, his boss into, letting him keep his memories. Because he's like, well, I'm a part of this now. The child that she has is mine. So, you need to let me, keep my memories so I can see this through.
Yeah.
And he's he ends up driving with a Talamasca agent to, kind of keep watch on him. he ends up going to Cortland's house because he wants to, like, find out information about, where. I forget what exactly he's there for, but it's something to do with Rowan.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
And he ends up talking to, the daughter. Don't remember her name.
No, I know.
And she's, yeah, but he finds out that, he finds out from his, like, history, memories, power, all sorts of stuff about, Cortland, including that, he had killed the boy and, raped Deidre, to get her pregnant. And this was, like, Lasher's plan, because, we soon find out that, Rowan ends up, like, meanwhile in Rowan's area, she's, like, comes in, kills all the, witch hunters, doesn't manage to save Tessa because Tessa gets shot, and then she goes to, get revenge on, like, finally accepts Lasher, goes to get revenge on the, like, final guy who, like, shot Tessa and managed to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And Lasher kills him, and she has this whole weird dream sequence, where she eventually learns, what the plan is, which is that the 13th Witch is the gateway to, Lasher becoming, like, in our world, like, gaining corporeal form instead of being, like, a weird supernatural thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the prophecy, and, Cyprian also figures this out, and goes to, meet, Rowan to stop it. Cortland ends up going out into the woods to find, Rowan passed out, and he drags her to the, family mausoleum, which is, the site of where, this all happens. Lasher ends up being, like, he's the baby, he gets born, with, the Scottish midwife assisting. And then, Rowan's there, and, Cortland's there, and Rowan's like, Cortland wants the child, and Rowan's like, no, this is my child, you're bad.
Yeah.
He reveals what his plan was, which was to get immortality, because she tries to kill him and she's unable to. And then she's like, well, I can just turn you to stone.
Yeah. But I like how he, like, basically revealed, like, his hand, like, yeah, I'm immortal. You can't kill me.
Yep, and he wants to raise the weird supernatural baby.
Like, why, though?
I guess because it would give him power? I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm gonna... Because at first she's like, no, I don't want this child. I don't want to go through with this. But then she has the baby and runs off, and he wants it. She's like, no, I want it.
Well, I don't think she had a choice. Like,
yeah,
that baby was born in 2 minutes, so...
Yeah. And then Cyprian gets there, and Cyprian's like, hey, come on, this is my child too. Let's go do something with it.
Supernatural baby.
Yeah. And she's like, no, you lied to me. I want the supernatural baby.
It's just so weird.
She's like, if Cyprian's like, no, that's, Lasher's manipulating you. If you can't tell from the tone of my voice, this whole thing just comes across as really weird and goofy and silly. Like, it's just not great.
Not great.
And she, like, we end on her walking off with the baby as, Cyprian looks on.
Yeah. So, like, what is she gonna do? Is she gonna go back to San Francisco?
I don't know. She's gonna raise the weird, evil supernatural child and use her superpowers to do something.
Is she gonna stay in the Mayfair house and turn it into, like, a place of good instead of evil?
I don't know that she's concerned with that anymore. But she did seem like she wanted to heal people, and she learned the, like, midwife's secret cheat codes to doing that she wrote on her, like, house in runes. So, who knows?
Very interesting. Yeah. Let me talk about another thing that stood out to me that, like, really aggravated me. I don't know why. But, so Cortland, the uncle, he's, like, this southern gentleman type of guy. You know, he's got, like, the southern accent and stuff.
Yeah. He has the southern gentleman accent.
Yes. And he uses, like, colloquialisms. And, like, one of the things he says a lot is he says share. Okay? Which is, like, a Cajun term. And it's, like, common in Louisiana, and it's spelled C-H-E-R. However, it is not pronounced like share, okay? And he keeps saying it, and it's sha. Like, you say, like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, sha. Like, it's not share at all. Like, that's how you spell it, but that's not how it's pronounced here. And so I'm like, they could have done just like a modicum of research to like get the pronunciation right.
That's derived from French, right?
It's derived from French. It's Cajun French, and it really, and I know like, it's its own dialect, whatever, but it aggravated me every time he said share. And I'm like, it's not share, bro. Like, that's how it's spelled. Sure, it was in the book, but that's not how you say it. So.
Is that how you would pronounce that in French? Is like, chérie, right?
Yeah, like mon chérie, I guess. But,
you think that's where they got it from?
Oh, I'm sure that's where they got it from. And I'm sure, like, it's always written in, like, Southern things. It's usually, like, an italicized word in a book. You know what I mean? Like, because it's, like, it's a French, dialect word.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that's where they got it. But, like, in Cajun French, that's not how it's pronounced. So that just, like, really annoyed me. So, because it's such a common thing here. Like, you hear it. It's a common thing, so, like, you know how it's pronounced, and, like, nobody says it like that.
Yeah, but, another thing, Cyprian mentions that, he prefers the snow, but he lives somewhere where it doesn't snow.
Yeah.
It's like, it does snow there, just, like, once every 10 years.
Once every 10 years, yeah.
Yeah. Which, that's a nitpick, like, you might say, like, oh, it doesn't snow here.
Right.
It's just, something I've noticed. I was like, it does snow there, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the only real, like, Louisiana thing that I felt I liked was the jazz funeral scene from the first set of episodes. Like, I liked that part. But all the other, like, Southernisms, I was just, like, kind of rolling my eyes at.
Yeah, well, a lot of these sets of episodes take place, like, either in, like, flashback in Scotland or the memory in Scotland, or just in that one house. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. The location doesn't matter all that much.
No. I thought, again, that I would like it more because I love, like, a haunted, a haunted house type of thing and, like, creepy. Like, I like the whole element of it being, like, the 13th descendant or designee, whatever. I like the, like, creepy-ish vibe, like, kind of storyline of, like, those kinds of aspects. But, even, like, the crows flying, like, like, the little creepy elements, like, that's why I thought I would really like this show.
Yeah, they don't do it well.
It just didn't do it for me. Yeah. So I don't know that we'll watch season 2. No. I'm really not interested in it, so.
Oh, also, basically, it's not used a ton, but every effect in this show is not great.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, this is what I continue to not understand. It's such a short season, and, like, this is like a formula, for streaming. It's such a short season. You only have like 8 to 10 episodes per season of like shows now. You would think, and it takes so long for the next season to come out, even though it's only 8 episodes, like you would think production would be pretty stellar, like in my opinion, like because you have a lot of time. You're not working on 24 episodes in a season. You're working on 8 episodes. Like, I feel like you would have more time to get those special effects right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that part bothers me about shows.
Yeah. Like, that one ant, like, phasing in and out of existence just looked really bad.
Yes, and I didn't get that whole subplot. I did not understand. What is that second ant? I don't even know her name. What is she doing? What's her story?
So apparently this had happened before, where, Lasher had gotten control of the house, and they, like, somehow managed to, to regain control. Yeah. Like, Carlotta did something, and she was, like, running around trying to find out what happened, and also dealing with the agony of whatever was happening to her. That wasn't clear.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. I just felt like it was kind of stuck in there, like, it didn't really have, like, a whole major plot point there.
I will say, I did like the cinematography in episode 5 when they were stuck in the haunted house. It just kind of, it was dampened a bit by the whole effects.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It had some interesting points. It had some good character, casting and acting, but there was some that just, like I said, the main thing for me is, like, if I'm not interested in the romance of the main character, like, I'm not interested at all. Like, it's
right. Well,
not great.
That's important to the series.
Right. That's what I'm like. And it just didn't come across for me. Which, like I said, like I usually like Alexandra Daddario. You know, I usually like her and stuff, so just kind of surprised me.
Yeah, oh, I forgot to mention the subplot with Cyprian's sister.
Oh!
Which I brought that up, the first part of it in the plot synopsis, but not the second part where she has to get wiped. Because
Yes.
Cyprian ends up telling her about it, and he, like, disappears because of, like, the whole crisis, and misses her due date.
That was another thing.
And then she gets wiped.
Yeah, and I thought that was, like, a whole weird thing, because, like, she's there when they're doing, like, the healing ritual and stuff, and then they're like, oh, we've been compromised. Like, she calls. How does she have the number?
She finds a card in Cyprian's wardrobe or drawers or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I totally forgot about that. So she calls the company or agency, whatever you want to call it, and they're like, no, we don't have anybody by that name, like, you're mistaken, basically. And I'm just going like, okay, if you witness, like, supernatural stuff... Wait, was that before or after?
No, she witnessed it.
Okay. And then, like, you're calling... Like, I don't know. It just feels like it was... That whole part was weird. And then they, like... I thought they were gonna, like, basically, like, kill her or do something supernatural to her. That was, like...
They wiped her memory.
Yeah, which... I was, like, glad for that, but I thought they were gonna be like, oh, Cyprian doesn't work here anymore, like, he's fired because there was a compromise, and I thought they were gonna, like, do away with her or something. No. I don't know. I didn't like that whole subplot point, yeah.
Yeah, it also, like, ends on a cliffhanger. Presumably it'll come back up in season 2, but...
Yeah, maybe so.
It's not like...
But didn't love all of that, because I was like, okay.
Yeah, but again, don't like how the plot ends up, just kind of ridiculous, especially in execution.
Yeah, it's definitely ridiculous.
And, yeah, I read the plot synopsis, the original, and in the original she, like, just gets pregnant sort of independently, like, Lasher doesn't do it, and Lasher's, like, plan is to, use her, like, possess her baby so that he becomes, like, born into the world.
Oh.
And she, like, tries to, like, outsmart him and, like, play along with him to trick him or something, but it doesn't end up working, instead of this all just being, like, Lasher's design, and she's just kind of, like, along for the ride.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she's like, no, I'm gonna use my superpowers to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That whole thing was ridiculous.
It was. Yeah, moral of the story is... Nah.
Yeah,
wasn't
not a great show.
No, I was really bummed out. But I'm glad we finished it, because I just, had to see. I thought it was going to get better, or I would be more interested in it, but I really wasn't.
Yeah, I guess it could have if the went in a better direction, but...
Oh well.
Yeah, I also felt like the Talamasca just, like, kind of... That plotline didn't really pay off. It's just like, yeah, he's in on the whole thing, but it's just because they just, like, sort of watch, and I think he mentions they, like, take notes. Like, they record it, like, they're just, like, historians.
Yeah, I'm like, well, then why do you even exist? Like...
Right, why have the front
so
about,
secretive.
Like, being able to help people with supernatural stuff? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't... That didn't all come together either.
No, like, I just hadn't... That was a little weird.
And again, Cyprian, like, just at the end, like, he gets trapped in that memory for a long time, and then, like, again, he's just chasing the plot. Like, yeah. and just, like, I don't know. His character also, just, like, I think they didn't do a great job with by the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said, if there were 4 more episodes, and not that we needed some of the, like he was in Scotland way too long.
Yeah.
But I think we could have developed things a little bit more so that there was more interest. There was more chemistry between, him and Rowan.
Yeah.
And there, like, kind of, I feel like things could have been explained a little bit better, if you had a few more episodes.
Also, ostensibly, this should be a love triangle.
Right.
But it's not a love triangle. Like, it should be, like, sort of Rowan deciding between Cyprian and Lasher, and that just doesn't, that's a great structuring plot for it, like, and it's basically what they set up, but they don't actually do it. Because it's like, she can go with the, like, good, like, love, like, the good boyfriend or the evil boyfriend who gives her superpowers, and that's, like, a temptation, but they... Classic, like, supernatural thing, too.
Like, and you don't... you don't feel like, okay, when they were showing young Deidre, how she was drawn and like enamored with Lasher, like you don't feel that at all with Rowan, you know? And like we know she doesn't want Lasher, but even in the episode where he's like basically seducing her, like you still don't feel that with her.
No, yeah, they don't do a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of weird.
Well, yeah, I feel like I've written, like, notes for how to have made this a way better show.
Right? I know. Like, we should just do the show. So.
Like, give them a few more episodes, like, make the romance, like, that should be your focus. That's what they've written on the page here. Like, that, your focus is the romance. It should be a love triangle.
Yes.
Like, but that's just not on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Exactly.
And also have better acting. The plot should pay off better.
Have more chemistry between the actors.
Yeah.
You know.
I get why the witch hunting thing exists for the plot, but also I'm just like, not my favorite.
Yeah, it's a total subplot that, like, again, I'm really not that interested in. Like, the whole thing. Like, I thought it was going to get interesting with Tessa. Like, you know, I thought her little part was going to get more interesting, and it really was over so fast. Like, it really wasn't that, you know? It was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Also, they were meant to be, like, neo-Nazis, and like,
right.
they don't pay that off. It's weird.
No.
It's just, like, pulling from, like, real-world political things, just for, like, set dressing, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a little goofy the way that was also portrayed. But, I mean, at least they gave it a good effort.
Well, they're getting a second season, so...
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people liked it, so...
Yeah, somebody somewhere watched it, or maybe they just have enough money behind it, because apparently this is supposed to tie in with Interview with the Vampire at some point.
Yeah.
The other Anne Rice adaptation that's currently, like, airing.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just like, well, we're already doing this, we might as well continue, but I don't know.
Might as well. We'll see. We'll see if that's any good.
I've heard good things about it, but I don't want to watch it, so...
I know. We'll have to see about that one, but I don't know.
Yeah, but...
I don't know, just overall a bummer, but...
Yep.
You know, glad we watched it.
I mean, I don't regret it, but it's not a great show.
No, it didn't have what it takes.
Nope.
Alright, well,
I guess that's everything, yeah.
Alright, well, this has been Beach View. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.